Well, he's been a dominant figure in New York politics for years, and now Ed Cox is back as chairman of the state's Republican Party.
And Fox 5's Morgan McKay went one-on-one with him about where he sees the party headed. She joins us now. Hi, Morgan.
Hi, Steve and Natasha. So New York is a blue state. There's no denying it. And over the last few decades, it's become even more blue. But the last election showed that Republicans still have somewhat of a foothold in the state. And now Ed Cox is back. He was the state's GOP chairman for a decade, from 2009 until 2019. And he says he's ready to steer this next generation of Republicans.
We're going to bring common sense ideas. It's very simple.
Ed Cox is back at the helm of the New York State Republican Party and says he is ready to build off the momentum Republicans saw in 2022. And as a son-in-law of former President Richard Nixon, Cox believes the party has a chance to win back some moderate voters.
What better thing than safe streets, good jobs, and good education? Do you think moderates would be for that? You bet they will be.
The Republican Party made gains in New York in 2022, thanks in part to Cox and his fight against the redistricting maps drawn by Senate Democrats. Cox, along with former Congressman John Faso, introduced a lawsuit challenging the maps, arguing that they were gerrymandered. A judge ruled in favor of Cox, and the maps were tossed out and redrawn. As a result, Republicans were able to flip 4 congressional seats.
And New York now has more competitive districts than any other major state. We have 9 competitive districts as opposed to none.
Lee Zeldin also offered the party hope, coming in just 6 points behind Governor Kathy Hochul in the governor's race, the closest a Republican has come to winning a statewide seat since George Pataki was governor. Cox and Faso set up a super PAC to support Zeldin's campaign.
We outspent Governor Hochul in the last 6 weeks of the campaign, and you could see the momentum and the crowds gathering for our candidate Lee Zeldin.
But the party is not without its own turmoil. Congressman George Santos, who lied about his background, is seen by some as a black stain on the office he holds. The Nassau County Republicans have publicly shunned Santos. I asked Cox for his take on the disgraced congressman.
He is going to be making a ton of money because of all the attention he's getting. I mean, it'll be the book, there'll be the movie, etc. He's a complete fabulist. Fabulist is someone who really believes the untruths that they make up.
If he decides to run again in 2024, will you guys support him? Will you guys be putting up a different candidate?
The Nassau Party, en masse, did a press release about that, and they would like to have him resign and move forward without him, obviously.
Cox is known to have deep fundraising ties in the state and was voted unanimously to his position as chairman. But before the election, there was a small effort by the Manhattan chapter of the New York Young Republican Club to keep Cox from winning the chairmanship. Their president, Gavin Wax, recently told the New York Times that the Republican Party has shifted to reflect more conservative views. This group also led pro-Trump protests outside Manhattan Criminal Court ahead of a possible indictment. I asked Cox if he plans to work with this chapter of Young Republicans.
If they want to, absolutely. But they seem more interested in their divisive politics rather than in actually being a part of the team going forward.
And speaking of former President Donald Trump, Cox made it clear that he believes the potential indictment on behalf of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is politically motivated.
At best, you're talking about a misdemeanor here with respect to record keeping. A misdemeanor that has a 2-year statute of limitations, and we're way beyond that.
Now, I also asked Cox who he plans to support in the 2024 presidential race, and he says he plans to remain neutral. Steve, Natasha?
Very well. All right, thanks, Morgan.